party with me while I tell y'all a story time on my crazy Craigslist roommate. Really thought that I was gonna be part of a Craigslist killer type situation with how crazy my roommate was. When I was in my 20s, I was very rowdy. I moved out at 20. My early 20s was kind of like my partying college years. I just wasn't at university. So I had this group of friends. We used to go out and party and every other day of the week. We would come to my place to pregame, and then we come back after the bar and yada, yada, yada. I was looking for someone that had a similar lifestyle to me. Any interview I had or any person I talked to, I made it very clear. And I want to let you know now, I do live a free party lifestyle. My friends come over often. I have no problem making sure we quiet down or send my friends home. If that's not something you're comfortable with or not okay with, this isn't going to be a good fit for you. So I made sure to make that be known. The girl that I ended up going with, I explained all that to her and she was like totally okay with it. She's like, girl, I keep to myself. I'm a night owl. It's not going to bother me, but I also have no problem letting you know, like, girl, I'm trying to get my sleep if you're too loud. I'm like, cool, awesome. Forrest gets a chance to meet my friends because she was respectful to them and she seemed really chill in the beginning. And now this was years ago, so I can't really remember the exact series of events, but I had this friend. I would let this friend stay at my house when I was at work because I had 2 jobs at the time, and they started to get close. Like, they got really close. I would come home and they'd be kikiing off. One day there was like a slight altercation between me and my roommate. I'm gonna call her Sharice. I don't know. Sharice and I had got into it about something. It had nothing to do with my friends or anything like that. But she like flipped the script. Mind you, she was not on my lease. I was just subleasing for her. And my apartments didn't allow that, but that's what I was doing for myself. Just in case something didn't work out, I didn't really want to have like a permanent roommate on the lease. She was like, I don't want to be your roommate anymore. You're crazy. This just isn't a good fit for me anymore. And I'm gonna go to your apartments and let them know that I've been living here so that you get kicked out. First of all, I'm thrown for a loop because nothing like that serious had happened. Like, she just chose something to nitpick with me about. So we can take it there if you want to, but I'm like, sorry, it's not a good match for you. You are more than welcome to leave. I'll find another roommate. I'll figure it out. She's like, yeah, I think that's for the best. And the next day, she was like, I think we can work this out. I have to be honest with you. Your friend has been telling me things about you that just doesn't sit right with me, that makes me uncomfortable to live with you. It was the friend that was hanging out with her when I was going to work. It turns out the friend at the time was telling her all kinds of crazy stuff, telling her that I did drugs, that I was a drug addict. So I was not a drug addict. I was not doing drugs at all. I didn't even smoke marijuana. That was a lie. Told her that I was a thief, that I was a klepto, and like told her all this crazy stuff about me. And after she told me that, I was like, understanding. I was like, well, honestly, why would you want to live with me if someone that's supposed to be my friend is telling you all these things about me? I wouldn't want to live with a drug addict or a klepto either. I told her that that was not true at all whatsoever. Moved past it, but I was still wary of the fact that the first thing she went to do was to go tell my apartments that she was living there to get me kicked out. Because she could have easily not wanted to live with me and went on about her business. So in the back of my mind, I was still worried about how that's how she was trying to move. So a couple weeks go by, we're getting along pretty well. There hasn't been any big instances or anything like that. She comes to me and she's like, hey, there's something I need to tell you. So I wasn't completely honest with you when we moved in. She's like, I'm pregnant. I said, did you just find out you're pregnant? Y'all, I promise you, I'm pretty sure she was like 6 months along. But she was not showing, like, at all. Like, was she actually pregnant? There was so much crazy stuff going on with her. I don't know what was true and what wasn't true. But she said she was 6 months pregnant. If you're pregnant, why would you even want to put yourself in a situation where there's going to be 20-year-olds drinking and pregame and all that? Why would you want to be around that when you're pregnant? I'm like, congratulations, but I would not have chosen you to be my roommate with my lifestyle if I knew you were pregnant. I'm not in a position where I want to be with a newborn baby. What? Y'all, she apparently was married. She had some husband from Africa or something. Apparently was sending her money. She was like, she just needed somewhere to live close to the due date, but that she wasn't planning on staying there with the baby. I didn't want to just be like, no, you can't stay here when she was pregnant. So I was like, okay, well, thanks for telling me. I wish you would have told me when we first met each other, but okay, like, thanks for telling me now. I would have thought that would have been enough for me to be like, no, you gotta go, but I kept her around. month later or something. Went out with my friends. We came back late. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. She comes busting out of her room and she's yelling and she's cussing my friends out, cussing me out, talking about how she's pregnant and she shouldn't have to deal with all this. Well, then why did you move in with me knowing you were pregnant? She ends up finally like going to bed. I'm just thinking the audacity of this girl. The next day I told her she had to get her stuff and I gave her a week to get out. I said, yeah, this is not working out. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way in my apartment. I'm doing you a favor. That was the utmost disrespect. You knew what it was when you moved in. I was very clear about what I was looking for in a roommate and what you were going to get. You knew that. You agreed to it. You then come into my home, threatened to try to get me kicked out of my apartment that my name is on. You tell me that you're pregnant when you did not disclose that information. You got to go. You have a week. She refused to leave. She's like, I'm not moving anywhere. I'm staying. She said that I couldn't make her and that she wasn't going. That this was her apartment too and she was here to stay. I said, look, I said what I said, you have a week to get out of here. So you better call your fake husband that I've never met, that you only talk to on the phone with. Ask him to send you a plane ticket or something. Ask your mama. I don't care what you got to do, but you've got until the end of the week to get out of my apartment. I said, and if you don't, I will call the cops and let them know that you are not welcomed here. If you refuse to leave, I will have to call the cops and get them to remove you. But you're not going to punk me into staying here. You already tried to punk me and scare me to try to get me kicked out of my apartment. You're not going to scare me into letting you stay here, you crazy psycho. And luckily, she didn't have a lot of stuff to her name. She didn't have like barely anything. But she did not have any stuff, even have proof that she was living there. She was smart enough not to try me again. So the end of the week comes. I see her starting to get some of her stuff together. Brother was like gonna come help her move her stuff. And before she left, she did try to apologize and like, you know, I'm so sorry and you're right. I should have told you about my pregnancy and it wasn't right of me to come at you like that. I really think we can make this work. If you're willing to give it another try, like I'm willing to give it another try. I didn't want any of this to go down. Absolutely not. I think you're crazy. I'm now scared that you're gonna like kill me in my sleep. So irrational and all over the place. You have to go. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you have a safe delivery and I hope that you can find a permanent home for you and your baby, but it's not here. I finally got her crazy butt out my apartment. I was really happy about it. I thought I would like never see her again and that was just wild to me. Like that was just craziness. Unfortunately for me, that was not the last time that I saw her. A few months go by and I happened to run into her at the library. Well, she wasn't even supposed to be here. Her family apparently didn't live here. Or maybe her brother lived here. Okay, maybe he lived here. Well, I run into her at the library a few months later and she's like, oh, hey girl, how are you? Acting like she didn't try to manipulate me and get me kicked out of my house. Apparently she had her baby and she's like, girl, yeah, I'm just so sorry about how everything went down. I still feel really bad about it. It's not really working at my brother's house. If you're open to the idea, I would love to come back. I know you're not really ready to live with a baby, but I wouldn't expect you to help out, and I wouldn't even give you crap about your friends coming over. Like, it'll be completely different. And I'm just thinking to myself, you really are the Lulu. Like, you really are crazy. Wild. And at this point, I don't even know if she was following me because, like, what would be the odds that I would see her at that library? Like, I don't even know. I wouldn't put it past her. Moral of the story, y'all, don't get your roommates off Craigslist. Do not get your roommates off Craigslist. I've just had experience with people in general in my life. So y'all let me know if you like the story time. I got plenty of stories to tell y'all. If you did, I will share another story time with y'all in my next Get Ready With Me.